Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? We back at it again, but this time we gonna be reacting to crazy ass theories about the NBA. Now, no longer wait. Let's get straight into it.
Fultz motorcycle accident. The theory goes like this. During the summer after getting drafted first overall by Philadelphia, Markelle Fultz wrecked a motorcycle, messed up his shoulder, and it all got swept under the rug. The rumor didn't come from some Reddit basement either. In November of 2018, an NBA reporter went on a radio show and flat out claimed it. That same day, a basketball site said they got messages from someone backing up the story. Timing? Wild. But there's more. People pointed to how fast Fultz's shooting form collapsed early in his rookie year. He went from a top pick to barely being able to take a jumper without everyone wincing. That's where the theory picked up steam. Then came the actual diagnosis. Doctors said he had thoracic outlet syndrome, which is way less dramatic, but medically legit. Still, whispers about that mystery motorcycle kept floating around. Fultz's agent fired back, saying it was 100% false. Fultz himself said he heard the rumors, but didn't offer much else. No police report, no hospital file, no guy in a gas station saying I saw the whole thing. Nothing. Just a theory stuck between internet gossip and medical explanation. Years later, he's still in the league, on his third team, and still a decent backup. Yao Ming Lab.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even know he was in a motorcycle accident. I thought he just had a fucked up nervous thing going on. I didn't know why he really had all that. But shit, I guess you learn something every day. I don't know. I've heard this one though. Yao Ming created a lab. I did hear about this. I mean, 7'6", man. I ain't gonna lie. All the motherfuckers seem like they was creating a lab.
Creation theory. This one's wild, but here's how it goes. Yao Ming wasn't just born, he was the product of a strategy. The theory says China's government practically designed him through state influence, starting with his parents. His dad stood 7 feet tall and his mom was 6'3", both former pro players. They were considered the tallest couple in China, and according to reports, their pairing wasn't just romantic, it was encouraged to create an athletic phenomenon. Not long after he was born in Shanghai in 1980, Yao was being physically evaluated to predict his future height. Spoiler, they guessed he'd hit 7 feet, and they weren't wrong. Instead of regular school, he was placed in a sports institution that emphasized basketball over books. By the time he was 13, he was already logging 10-hour training days with the Shanghai Sharks junior squad. The support didn't stop there. He had tailored nutrition, specialized medical care, and national team access. By 17, China's one-child policy only intensified the focus on developing him as a standout. When he eventually became an NBA star, his post-career roles stayed close to home, including a long stint as chairman of the Chinese Basketball Association. The theory doesn't claim test tubes or Frankenstein labs, but it does paint a picture of government-guided athlete building that started before he could even walk. LeBron James draft rigging theory. Here's the setup. The Cleveland Cavaliers finished the season tied for the worst record in the league. They had the best odds to land the top pick in the 2003 draft, and they did. That's when things got weird. The prize? A teenage phenom from nearby Akron, LeBron James. The timing was too perfect for some people to buy as random. It didn't help when LeBron himself joked about it in 2025, saying the result was just too much of a coincidence. That only added fuel. He even mentioned other stars like Patrick Ewing and Derrick Rose landing with their hometown teams. People love patterns, and this one looked like it came with stage directions. The league runs the lottery behind closed doors using ping pong balls. It's watched by reps and auditors, but it's not shown live. So yeah, people talk. Even though Cleveland had a 22.5% chance, folks still raised eyebrows. It's not like this was the first time either. The Bulls once won with less than 2% odds. That's just the kind of thing that keeps theories alive. The NBA's a business too, and storylines sell. A hometown savior rebuilding a broken franchise, that's the kind of thing that keeps fans glued to the screen, and that's all conspiracy lovers need to start connecting dots that might not even be there. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Spencer Haywood, murder plot theory. This one's intense. During the 1980 NBA Finals, Spencer Haywood was spiraling. He joined the Lakers that season, but cocaine addiction took a serious toll. Things boiled over when he passed out during a team practice. Coach Paul Westhead had enough and suspended him for the rest of the finals. That decision lit a fire under Haywood, and not in a good way. In a later interview, he admitted he actually considered having Westhead killed. Not a figure of speech, he called up an old friend from Detroit, someone he described as a certified gangster, and started floating ideas. The leading plan? Tampering with the coach's brakes. Haywood said he left the arena that night thinking only one thing: Westhead had to go. That wasn't just anger talking, it was drugs, ego, and emotional chaos, all wrapped into one disaster waiting to happen. But before anything happened, his mother stepped in. She found out, got on the phone, and made it clear she'd call the police herself. That was enough to snap Haywood back to reality. He backed off. He eventually went to rehab in 1984 and later returned to the league, playing in Washington. Years later, he'd be honored with a Hall of Fame induction. That chapter of his life, still shocking. It's one of the darkest behind-the-scenes stories from a title run the public never saw. Manute Bol age controversy. The story goes like this. Bol, listed at 7'7", may have been way older than people thought during his NBA days. Officially, he was born in 1962, which would have made him around 23 when he debuted in 1985. But that number, completely made up by his recruiter. Kevin Mackey, the college coach who brought Bol to the United States, flat out said he invented the birthday. According to Mackey, no one really knew how old Bol was, not even Bol himself. He later guessed Bol might have been in his 40s, maybe even pushing 50 during his playing years. That would have made him a middle-aged shot-blocking machine, not just a young phenom. Bol was born in Sudan, in a village with no formal birth record. His tribe, the Dinka, didn't track birthdays like in the West. People estimated age based on events or physical maturity. So when Bol showed up, towering over everyone, nobody questioned his age. He played 10 seasons in the NBA, led the league in blocks his rookie year, and kept playing professionally into the late 90s. If he was really that old, it makes his entire career even wilder, whether he was 23 or 43. The dude was swatting shots like it was his full-time job, because, well, it was. The age? Still a mystery. The legacy? Undeniable. Lakers versus Blazers. Game 7. Rigging theory. The setup? Western Conference Finals 2000. The Blazers were up big, 75-60, with 10 minutes left. Then it all fell apart. The Lakers went on a wild run, outscoring Portland 31-13 and winning 89-84. That collapse sparked one of the NBA's biggest conspiracy theories. The biggest red flag? Free throws. The Lakers got 37 attempts. Portland, just 16. People pointed fingers, especially at Shaq's presence in the paint, drawing constant fouls. But critics didn't buy it. They said the officiating felt tilted, and one of the referees, Dick Bavetta, had already been linked to other eyebrow-raising games. Tim Donaghy, who later got busted for betting on games, called Bavetta the league's go-to guy for influencing outcomes. No proof, but the claim stuck. Still, if you watch the footage, Portland missed 13 straight shots in that final quarter. That's not just bad luck, it's full-on meltdown. Analysts broke down the calls, and while some were shaky, the overall officiating didn't clearly lean one way. The truth might just be boring. The Blazers went ice cold, and the Lakers made a push. But mix in missed shots, big names, and some sketchy officiating history, and you get a theory that still floats around 25 years later. Dikembe's draft tweet theory. On May 17, 2016, hours before the NBA draft lottery even happened, Dikembe hit send on a tweet congratulating Philadelphia for landing the #1 pick. The problem? The results weren't public yet. That single tweet sent the conspiracy crowd into overdrive. Fans immediately jumped to the idea that the draft was rigged. Dikembe had basically called it before the ping pong balls even dropped. Later, he explained what happened. He said the Sixers had emailed him and a few other former players asking them to prepare tweets just in case the team won. The email even included sample messages. Dikembe said he misread it and posted his too early. Realizing the mix-up, he deleted it and followed up with a new tweet, blaming excitement and confusion. The original still lived on in screenshots. The actual drawing took place behind closed doors, observed by team reps and outside auditors. Everyone present was locked away from any communication until after the results aired. Still, it didn't stop people from believing something fishy was going on. After all, the Sixers did get the #1 pick, just like Dikembe said they would. That one tweet, posted 4 hours too soon, is still talked about, nearly a decade later. Mistake or signal? That depends on who you ask. Jordan push-off. This one's been argued for over 2 decades. Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Final. Bulls down 1. Michael Jordan dribbles right, then crosses left. As he makes his move, his left hand touches Brian Russell's hip. Russell stumbles. Jordan hits the shot. Bulls take the lead, win the title. Iconic. But was it clean? That's where the theory kicks in. People claim Jordan pushed off. They say he used that left hand to create space, throwing Russell off balance. No foul was called. Jordan, he called it nonsense. Said Russell's momentum did the work for him. Russell, surprisingly chill, has said Jordan was going to make that shot anyway. Even John Stockton, Russell's teammate, admitted there was a push, but said he wouldn't have called it either. The referee closest to the play, Danny Crawford, backed that up. He called the contact minimal. In high-pressure moments, the NBA's known to let more physical play slide. This wasn't some random, regular season whistle, it was the final. Plus, Russell was already leaning in the direction Jordan was going. That didn't help his balance. Other similar plays have happened without a whistle. That consistency keeps the debate alive, no matter how you see it. Push or not, that moment's burned into NBA history. Jordan's last shot in a Bulls uniform. Clutch, dramatic, and forever controversial. Knicks, draft freeze-out theory. After the infamous 1985 draft lottery, where the New York Knicks landed Patrick Ewing, a theory emerged, not just about that draft, but everyone after. The claim? The NBA has quietly made sure the Knicks never got the top pick again, just to avoid more suspicion. That original lottery was already sketchy enough, with the whole frozen envelope idea floating around. People said the league wanted a star in New York and made it happen, but after that, silence at the top. The Knicks have been in the lottery plenty of times since, but the number one pick, not once. Not in 1986, not in 2003, not even in 2019, when they had a 14% chance. The best odds allowed under the new format, and still only got the third pick. Some fans say that's not bad luck. They think the league's too scared to let it happen again. Giving New York another top pick might reopen old wounds and validate the conspiracy talk. So, according to the theory, the league plays it safe. There's no smoking gun, of course. The lottery's done with ping pong balls, sealed rooms, and independent observer. Still, those odds have not favored the Knicks in 4 decades. That's a long dry spell for one of the league's biggest markets. Coincidence? Maybe. Convenient? Absolutely. Rob Hennigan, Oklahoma City, trade sabotage theory. This one's all about time.
Bro, who the fuck is this? I ain't never seen this man in my life. I ain't never heard of this name in my life. Who is this? Am I tripping? Have y'all heard about this man?
Timing and connection. In 2016, Orlando's GM Rob Hennigan pulled the trigger on a deal that made fans squint hard. He sent Victor Oladipo, Ersan Ilyasova, and the draft rights to Sabonis to Oklahoma City for Serge Ibaka. At the time, it looked uneven. Fast forward, and it aged like milk. Oladipo became an all-star. Sabonis? Same. Ibaka? Gone after 8 months. The Magic flipped him to Toronto for Terrence Ross and a pick. It didn't help that Hennigan used to work for Oklahoma City before landing in Orlando. And after getting fired in 2017, with a record of 132 and 278, he went right back to Oklahoma City. That's what lit the fuse for the theory, that he was helping out his old team on purpose. The conspiracy suggests he knew exactly what he was doing, playing the long game, but there's no actual proof. Front office moves in the NBA aren't rare. Execs bounce between teams all the time. Still, the optics were brutal. Oklahoma City ended up flipping Oladipo and Sabonis in the Paul George trade that eventually led to Shea. Meanwhile, the Magic had a brief Ibaka cameo and years of regret. Whether it was sabotage or just a swing that missed, fans haven't forgotten how one trade reshaped 2 franchises in opposite directions. Phoenix Suns hand-checking rule. Theory. The claim? The Suns somehow knew the NBA was about to crack down hard on hand-checking before the 2004 to 2005 season and built their entire offense to exploit it. When the league officially tightened enforcement, defenders could no longer use their hands to slow down perimeter players. That season, Phoenix exploded. Mike D'Antoni's offense was pure chaos. Lightning fast possessions, quick shots, constant ball movement. The 7 seconds or less system became impossible to guard, especially since defenders couldn't touch Steve Nash without drawing a whistle. The Suns led the league in scoring. They set the blueprint for modern offense. That's what fuels the theory, that Phoenix somehow got an early heads up, tweaked their roster, and ran wild while everyone else adjusted. But here's the thing, the league didn't exactly hide the chain. Rule enforcement details get sent out before the season. Every team had the same memo. Still, not everyone adapted like Phoenix. That's why people think the Suns were ahead of the curve. They didn't just read the memo, they built an entire offense around it. Whether that's insider knowledge or just next level coaching is the part that's debated. Either way, their success flipped the NBA's offensive style and turned hand checking into a relic of the past. The timing? Suspicious to some, strategic brilliance to others. NBA Finals, Facebook leak theory. Right before Game 7, of the 2016 Western Conference Finals, something weird popped up on the NBA's official Facebook page. It showed the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors as the finals matchup. Before the Warriors had even played the Oklahoma City Thunder, fans saw it, screenshotted it, and chaos followed. The listing was pulled down fast, but the damage was done. Suddenly, people were convinced the league already knew the outcome. Cue the conspiracy theories. Was the fix in? Did the NBA just leak its own script? Commissioner Adam Silver tried to calm things down. He blamed it on a Ticketmaster scheduling mix-up. According to him, it was just a placeholder that somehow got pushed live. He said the league doesn't favor any team, especially when they can't even predict which matchup would get better ratings. Sure, but this wasn't the first time the league fumbled something like this. Maybe just another coincidence. The Warriors did end up winning that Game 7, and the exact matchup from the leak actually happened. That timing? A little too perfect for some fans. Whether it was a glitch or a giveaway, the post added fuel to an already suspicious crowd. Sometimes, all it takes is one click. James Harden under-the-table payment theory. This one centers around James Harden, Daryl Morey, and a whole lot of side-eye. In the 2022 offseason, Harden declined a massive player option worth over $47 million. Instead, he signed a shorter deal that gave the Sixers extra cap room. That flexibility let them bring in other players.
Come on, bro. He was just tired of losing on the shitty-ass Rocket team and the shitty-ass Brooklyn Nets team somehow. I don't get how that team was shitty, but he was just tired of losing. He wanted to get on a team, even if that means he got a money cut. That boy is a fucking millionaire, probably almost a billionaire. You don't need that money. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
a nice team. First move, right? Then came the twist. By August 2023, Harden was calling Morey a liar in public, on stage, into a microphone. That's when the theory kicked off. People started asking if Harden had taken the pay cut, expecting something bigger later. An unofficial promise? A handshake deal? Or maybe something even sketchier. The NBA noticed too. They launched an investigation into whether Morey or the Sixers had violated salary cap rules by making hidden agreements. But after digging around, the league didn't find any proof of an under-the-table setup. What they did find was unrelated tampering with free agents, which cost the team 2 second-round picks. That only made things murkier. Harden never got that big follow-up deal, and his public frustration made it clear something went sideways. But no evidence ever surfaced, just speculation, a sour relationship, and a whole lot of awkward press. The theory still floats around, but unless someone leaks receipts, it stays locked in the land of NBA what-ifs. Boston Celtics. Injury curse theory. The Celtics have stacked banners, but they've also stacked tragedy. It starts in 1986. Len Bias, drafted 2nd overall, died 2 days later from a cocaine overdose. Just like that, their future star vanished. Then in 1993, Reggie Lewis collapsed and died from a heart condition during an off-season workout. He was only 27. By then, Larry Bird's back was already giving out. He'd hurt it shoveling gravel in 1985, and it never got better. His pain limited the final years of his career and slowed down what could have been an even longer run. Flash forward to 2017. Isaiah Thomas played through a hip injury in the playoff. That gamble ended with a torn labrum and a sharp turn in his career. The same year, Gordon Hayward went up for a lob in his very first game with Boston and came down with a broken leg and dislocated ankle. Just brutal. And as if the basketball gods weren't done, in 2025, Jason Tatum tore his Achilles in the playoff. Another star, another season derailed. Fans call it a curse because it feels endless. Big names, big injuries, devastating timing. There's no hex, no supernatural explanation, but the Celtics have lost a staggering amount of talent to sudden, crushing setback. When your franchise highlight reel keeps cutting to a stretcher, people start to wonder what's really going on. Chris Paul and Scott Foster, collaboration theory. This one flips the usual narrative. Instead of saying Foster's out to get Paul, it claims they're secretly working together to manipulate games. Problem? The evidence doesn't just fall short, it runs in the opposite direction. Paul's teams are 3-17 in playoff games officiated by Foster. That includes a 13-game losing streak, and it's not like these were all uphill battles. In 15 of those 20 games, Paul's team was favored. They lost by an average of over 11 points. Doesn't exactly scream secret alliance. Then there's the personal stuff. Paul said flat out in November 2023 that his relationship with Foster is personal. He brought up a confrontation from 2015 when Foster allegedly honked his horn at Paul while he was with his kid. That situation was serious enough that the league stepped in, holding a meeting with Paul, his father, Doc Rivers, and Foster. not your typical co-conspirators, Foster's also been dubbed the extender because of how often teams down in series suddenly win when he's on the whistle. Add that to over 100 calls with Tim Donaghy during the gambling scandal, and you've got fuel for all kinds of theories. But this one, the idea that Foster and Paul are somehow in on it together, the track record says otherwise. If anything, they look like adversaries caught in a weird, uncomfortable NBA subplot. Tiger Woods tried to get Tim Duncan to the Orlando Magic theory. In the summer of 2000, the Orlando Magic went all in, trying to land Tim Duncan. The plan? Form a powerhouse with Duncan, Grant Hill, and Tracy McGrady. And to sweeten the pitch, they brought out Tiger Woods. At the time, Tiger was Orlando royalty. He played golf with Duncan, welcomed him to the city, and reportedly hit a shot so perfect it stopped a few feet from the cup.
I did not know Tim Duncan and Tiger Woods played golf together, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never known that, but that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know.
The idea was clear. Show Duncan he could win on and off the court in Orlando. The team pulled out all the stops. They flew Duncan in on a private jet, lit up Disney World with his name, and plastered billboards around town featuring him in a Magic jersey next to Hill. They held VIP parties, gave him the red carpet treatment, and made sure every inch of the city said, "This is your future." But Duncan didn't bite. He stayed in San Antonio. His connection to Greg Popovich was too strong. David Robinson even ended his vacation to talk him into staying. And apparently, a weird moment about team plane rules, whether Duncan's family could fly, played into the final decision. So despite the glitz, the golf, and the Magic's best effort, Duncan passed. It's still one of the biggest what-ifs in league history. One shot from Tiger wasn't enough to pull the big fundamental away from Texas. John Stockton assist inflation theory. The rumor? The Utah Jazz stat crew juiced Stockton's assist numbers to make him look even greater. People point to his higher assist average at home, 10.9 compared to 10.1 on the road, and say something fishy was going on. But here's the problem. That kind of difference is actually normal. Jason Kidd had an even bigger home bump. Mark Jackson too. That's just how NBA scorekeeping works. Assists aren't math, they're judgment calls. And in the 90s, that judgment was all over the place. One former scorekeeper admitted to padding stats and even name-dropped Stockton, which didn't help the theory's reputation. But researchers later analyzed John Allen, the Jazz's longtime scorekeeper, and found he was actually conservative with assist credit. Not generous, conservative. And even if you stripped Stockton's home stats down to match his road numbers, he'd still lead the all-time assist list by a mile. That Reddit deep dive laid it all out. The myth falls apart under actual math. So while it's fun to imagine Stockton's assists being handed out like candy at the Delta Center, the numbers just don't support it. If the Jazz were trying to rig his legacy, they didn't do a very convincing job. Turns out the guy really could pass. The theory makes noise, but the receipts tell a different story. Morris twins. Switching places theory. This one's wild. Fans have long joked that Marcus and Markieff Morris are so identical they could swap mid-game and no one would notice. But during the 2017 Eastern Conference semifinals, that theory hit playoff level drama. Markieff sprained his ankle in game 1. The next game, he shows up, plays solid, puts up 16 points and 6 boards. No limp, no signs of pain. Cue the internet losing its mind. People started asking if Marcus stepped in for his brother. The twins didn't help. They've admitted to switching places in school and even in AAU. One took a test for the other. One played in a jersey swap when his twin fouled out. It wasn't fiction, it happened, but Marcus denied doing it in the NBA, tweeting that he'd never suit up for a team he's not on. Still, the conspiracy stuck. They've got nearly identical build, the same tattoos. At a glance, but closer inspection shows slight differences. Markieff's neck ink isn't an exact match. They're an inch apart in height, and their play styles don't fully line up either. NBA teams have medical staff, protocols, daily walkthroughs. Swapping isn't exactly plug and play. Even so, Game 2 of that series gave just enough mystery to keep the theory alive. No proof, just whispers, and one very suspicious ankle bounce back. Phantom foul in the '88 NBA Finals theory, Game 6. Pistons up 3-2, 14 seconds left. Detroit's clinging to a 1-point lead. Kareem goes into the post, guarded by Bill Laimbeer. He rises for his skyhook, and the whistle blows. Foul on Laimbeer. His 6th, he's out. Kareem hits both free throws. Lakers take the lead. Pistons miss on the other end. Series tied. Game 7, Lakers win. Championship secured. But that foul? Still debated. Replay showed little, if any, contact. Laimbeer barely grazed Kareem, if at all. Pistons fans immediately called it a phantom foul, and they weren't alone. Even Pat Riley later called it the phantom skyhook foul. That's the Lakers coach admitting it looked sketchy. Kareem, of course, defended the call. He said Laimbeer made body contact, and the refs got it right. Depends which jersey you wore, really. But for Detroit, it felt like robbery. They were seconds away from their first title, and instead, they had to wait another year. That whistle reshaped the narrative, from Pistons glory to Lakers dynasty continuation. No review system, no chow, just one call that changed everything. Decades later, it still sparks debate. One foul, one skyhook, one title delayed, and one moment that became NBA conspiracy canon. Terry Rozier, betting scandal theory. This one's circling some serious storm clouds. On March 23rd, 2023, Rozier started a game against the Pelicans and played just under 10 minutes before exiting with a foot injury. His numbers: 5 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, all way below his averages. And right after, the betting alarm started blaring. Sportsbooks flagged heavy action on Rozier unders. Some even pulled his props off the board before tip-off. U.S. integrity caught it. The NBA launched an investigation. No rule violations were found, at least not by league standards, but the feds weren't convinced. By January 30, 2025, the Wall Street Journal reported that Rozier was under federal investigation, tied to the same gambling ring that took down Jonte Porter. Rozier hasn't been charged, but the questions won't go away. Prosecutors are looking at whether he intentionally underperformed to benefit bettors. If that's true, the fallout could be massive. He's sitting on a $50 million contract, and all of it's at risk. Rozier hasn't commented beyond the standard legal shield on advice from counsel. Meanwhile, the NBA's cooperating with the feds and doing damage control. It's not proof yet, but the scent is strong enough to keep Rozier under a microscope. If it turns out the injury wasn't the only reason for that stat line, this story's just getting started. CIA controls, NBA in the 70s theory. Now here's a deep cut from the conspiracy vault. The claim: the Central Intelligence Agency had some kind of grip on the NBA during the 1970s. The timing makes sense for drama. The CIA was busy being shady. Operation Chaos, COINTELPRO, and even rumors of Operation Mockingbird all came to light. Domestic surveillance, media manipulation, secret dossiers. It was all very cloak and dagger. But when it comes to the NBA, there's no credible evidence the league was a target or a tool. None. Meanwhile, the league was too busy dealing with its own mess. There were real problems: drug scandals, financial chaos, and a battle with the upstart ABA for talent and viewers. Several franchises were barely staying afloat. Teams moved, ownership changed, players jumped leagues. It was a circus, but not the kind that needs CIA fingerprints. If the government was pulling strings, they were doing a terrible job because the league was a hot mess. The theory likely survives because everything in the 70s felt paranoid, and any powerful American institution was fair game for suspicion. But with zero links between the CIA and league ops, this one lands squarely in the fun to imagine, impossible to prove pile. The 70s NBA was wild, but it wasn't Langley's secret project. 2006
See, I feel like that's straight bullshit. What? I don't know what the CIA would want to do with the NBA like that. That's just weird, bro.
NBA draft lottery theory. The Toronto Raptors came into the 2006 draft lottery with just an 8.8% shot at the top pick, and boom, they landed it. That pick became Andrea Bargnani, making him the first European player ever drafted #1 overall. The result surprised plenty of people, especially since the team with the best odds, the Portland Trail Blazers, dropped all the way to 4th, the lowest possible outcome for them. No suspicious hand movements, no hidden agendas, no weird ping pong ball voodoo, just the Raptors defying the math. The lottery's whole point is randomness, and sometimes randomness looks strange. It's tempting to read into the outcome, especially when the result is unexpected. The Raptors weren't a big market. The league didn't gain much narrative juice from pushing a European player to the top, a forgettable top pick, and a draft that's mostly remembered for what ifs. It was improbable, not impossible. 2011 slam dunk contest theory. Blake Griffin jumps over a Kia. A choir belts out, "I believe I can fly." The crowd loses its mind. He wins, but almost immediately, people start side-eyeing the whole thing. The problem? The car. Kia was a major NBA sponsor, and guess what Griffin jumped over? A shiny new Kia Optima. Reports even surfaced that promo material showing Griffin and the car dropped before the contest even happened. That's not great for optics, unless it's Optima optics, in which case mission accomplished. Add in the fact that JaVale McGee pulled off 2-ball dunks and more technically impressive stuff, and fans started whispering, did Kia buy the trophy? Griffin later admitted the dunk over the car idea was his, but said the league made him use that specific car. He wanted a convertible, They gave him a family sedan, so instead of a jaw-dropping convertible leap, we got a moderately dramatic hood hop and a gospel soundtrack. Did the judges really crown the best dunker or the best marketing package? There's no proof it was rigged, but the branding was so heavy, it may as well have worn a jersey. The whole thing felt less like a competition and more like a halftime ad with some rim rattling. So yeah, Griffin won, but the real winner might have been Kia's marketing department. 2017, NBA draft lottery theory. The Lakers finished with the third worst record, a 15.6% shot at the number 1 pick. But they landed at number 2, right where they needed to be. If their pick had slipped outside the top 3, it would have gone to the Sixers. Enter Lonzo Ball, local kid, UCLA product. His dad basically had a microphone surgically attached to his face. The NBA couldn't have scripted it better, so of course people started saying they did. The theory? That the league made sure the Lakers kept that pick to grab the guy who could juice ratings, sell jerseys, and help reboot a floundering marquee franchise makes for a clean narrative. But the odds? They lined up. The top 3 weren't some lottery miracle, just statistically plausible outcome. The lottery itself held in a locked room with team reps, media, and accountants watching the ping pong drama unfold. No phones, no magic tricks, just math and air pressure. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski even said he's seen it himself. Still, the combination of big market desperation and a media-savvy prospect made it all feel too...
That's the end of this video. If y'all liked it, like, subscribe, do whatever. I don't care. Y'all don't got to. But go subscribe to bball Explain. He almost had 100K. Yeah, go subscribe to him. Check him out. Peace out. Y'all have a good day.